Well, hello. Welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist. Joined with Hubcap.
Hubby?
Hubby. And the fur babies. Completely mix that up. Reverse. You know what we mean. All right.
I'm Hubcap.
You're Hubcap. So, we are working on Edgar's nose and his mouth. We do have, though I probably should have put mustache, because we may not make it to the mouth. But we're going to give it a go. And I'm warming up my 18 extra small at 3, but I'm probably going to bump down because it is his nose. And it is an old photo. I got to say, sorry for having to reschedule the live today, but thank you for your patience on that one.
It was my fault.
Well, it is what it is, and we're done. And we're here.
Yeah.
We're here.
Sorry, guys. And
wanted to ask, is doing the lives on Wednesday, public lives on Wednesday, better for everybody? I'm trying to pull up one of the photos for Edgar that I can see a little bit better.
Okay, hi.
Because I can see how things are shaped versus in this old photo. So, I mean, they're all old, but versus this one, I can see a little bit better. We see really actually not a whole lot of hair there.
His eyebrows he's got a different expression.
He's got a different expression, but I wanted to see the basic shape of his nose. Even though it's in a different pose, I can still see the shape of his nose. I wanted more so to see the mustache, but even with this, we don't get a whole lot of information.
I think we get a little bit more. I mean,
a little bit.
But the thing is, right, is it's a lot like if you can look at something from different angles, you get a better idea of its structure.
Yeah.
So anytime that you have multiple photos that are different of somebody, that's always going to help you figure it out. Even if it doesn't give you the clarity that you want, it's still better than nothing.
So Roxy. I had to get new panels out.
Roxy.
To test.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I need to make sure one of them is basswood. One's birch, because they may actually both be birch. Yeah, so this is burning a little hotter. Alrighty. I'm working on basswood. I have all that linked down in the description. I cut this board to 8 by 10.
Hi.
And we're in a mood, so let's get going. I'm going to get you guys closer. And hopefully you'll be able to see how my pen moves. That's the goal. And real quick, hey Cynthia, hola Omar, hey Michelle, hey grandmother. Grandmother may be new, so let us know if you want to share your name, first name, that would be great. Or if you want to be called grandmother, well, there's a couple of us here. Hey Sheila, hey Wanda. Alrighty. Let's get going. Yeah, this, I believe, is basswood, or birch. And let me quiet the notifications, just so they're not going off. And I will show this right here. I guess I have 2 birches, and that's not going to work. I can just lift it when I need it. Alright. At least I spent the time doing some stuff with my studio, trying to get it done. Alright, so I've bumped down to 2.5 because the nose is not highly dark. But we do have shadows going on. I'm just using the tip, which is going to burn hotter. It has the least amount of metal. So it just carries... okay. Is the shadowing on the face too much? On my hand, from my hand. Angle this. See if that helps a little bit. May blow us out, or me out. Live. Alrighty, so we don't want any lines. Remember, I can always darken. The biggest thing is no lines. Because when we outline, it changes the feel. Unless you are going for something that is more stylized, And then have fun.
Grandmother is Wanda.
So we got another Wanda?
No, it says Wanda says grandmother is.
Oh,
email.
so he's got both of them on.
She just doesn't remember which one email she's used for this. So, okay.
So we have a shadow under the nose that is darker, so I'm going right underneath. I have not adjusted my heat. This is a pretty dark shadow. We don't overly see the nostril. It goes dark up in here. Still, I'm just using the tip and doing oval strokes. I found that the oval strokes are the easiest to control on temperature. Sometimes a specific drag may be necessary, but for shadows and blends, I have found that the oval stroke is just the easiest way to go. I'm trying to get this shadow in. The nose comes down. We have a shadow up here, and then it's lighter. And the reason is we've got some cast light that's hitting the bottom of the nose. Bring this down. It goes kind of in a V. If I'm a little off, that's okay. In this case. So that's all shaded in. I'll go back and darken those areas because they are pretty dark. I'll bring this down because this does shape the nose. The shadow gives us an idea of what's going on with the light.
Hey, Burl's here.
Hey, Burl. Yeah, this is all going to go much darker. Just we can hold off on that for a second. Pretty bulbous here, but I'm seeing that there's a slight line right here that I'm going to quickly draw in just so I don't lose it. So it goes this way, comes down. So we've got a bit there, and then we have the side of this nostril. So this a lot, and I can erase, I'm not going to worry about that. I just want to get the shape first. So right here, pretty dark. In his smile lines, though cheeks really. Bring that shadow up. Again, the main thing is we don't want any harsh lines in these areas. Now sometimes there'll be a harsh shadow. You may be a little nervous to put that in, but that harsh shadow a lot of times makes it more interesting. Right here is darker. Let's see where the shadow comes down more. If I just go over it, slow down a little bit, it will darken. Now, let's see here. In the drawing, I put some circles because right now this is kind of washed out, so I can see where the lines are. I'm not exactly sure what those are, so I will skip those for now. Let's see. This line underneath this shadow is really dark. Underneath this part right here of the shadow, this is the shadow kind of forming the tip of the nose. It's a little dark. Comes down, and then it kind of fades a little bit, so it's not as dark, which is fine because I can always darken it. Not gonna stress about it. Because right now all I'm doing is blocking in.
Carmen's here.
Hey Carmen.
It's a little blurry.
It's a little blurry? Oh, you know what I didn't do? Because I was trying to do so many things. Did you just catch it, or is it been blurry?
I just catched it, and Wanda mentions it too.
Thank you, Wanda.
Sorry.
I will fix that right now because I know what happened. And then there was no blur. I forgot to take autofocus off. Totally my bad. Sorry about that. Hopefully that wasn't too long. There we go. Now, is it blurry now?
Looks clear to me.
Is it clear on the tablet? Because I'm
It's
looking
very clear.
from a distance.
No, it looks clear.
Okay, then I will leave the adjustment alone. I'm looking 2.5, 3 feet away from the monitor. So with my eyes, it does get a little blurry. Alright. I touched my test strip because I lifted my pen, or I put it down for a minute to adjust.
Roxy.
So there's no doubt it recovered all the heat.
Layla, get out of there.
They're just going to smell around. There's nothing right now they can get to.
No. Roxy's just chewing a piece of plastic.
So never mind. Alright, so we'll come back and darken that. But let's get this.
Your studio looks so much better.
Because it's cleaning up.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it is, but...
So this comes down. Nostrils are going to be dark, but you're not going to see, in a lot of cases, unless the head is back, you're not going to see all of that nostril. You're just going to see a hint of it. And when you put in all of the nostril, it can look like a pig person.
Yeah.
So if you're having that issue and you can't figure out why your nostrils looking like that, check to see how much of the nostril is actually showing. Because in general, you're not going to see it. His head's over a little bit, so you might see a little of the side here. But other than that, you're not going to see a whole lot.
Some people do have upturned noses.
Some people do.
But that's not as... Not in this case.
No, not in this case. We're not shaming anybody's nose.
No. There's so much wonderful variation in people's
yeah.
faces. So, I mean, that's all it is. If you're looking to make it look like the particular person that you're, doing the portrait of, then you have to be careful of things like that. There is no one-size-fits-all feature that you can learn for human faces.
So now I'm flat, top half of the tip, and I'm just trying to drag down the shadow that helps define the nose. And then we have a bit of shadow going sideways. Now, if you missed last week, when I do my patterns, you'll see dotted lines. Those are shadows that I need to pay attention to.
Carmen misses the wood burnings behind you on the wall.
Oh, they're going to go back up. I just haven't gotten there yet.
Valerie's been very busy these last few days, working on the studio and getting things arranged and digging up
old stuff
that has been we've forgotten about.
Because I'm cleaning a closet. I cleaned a closet out. All right, so I bumped up to almost 3.5. I'm going to darken the shadow. Excuse me. So let's get these darks in real quick. And I'm using the top half of the tip, but I'm angled. So it's only half the tip. And that's so I can get into a little area. Darken this up. Remember, the slower I go, the darker it's going to get. And at some point this is going to get pretty dark, and I have to be okay with that because at first it's going to feel overwhelming. because there's not going to be a lot of midtones and lights in. So I'm going to feel like I kind of screwed up a little bit, but I haven't. I just have to put the other stuff in. So we're going to drag this down, put that point on it. Let's bring this shadow over. And then there's shadow that comes down for the mustache. I can just drag flat, bring it out. And the way I did it, line-wise, the mustache shows in this as groups, which is realistic, but it might feel a little off. It feels more like a comb with thick teeth. So see, because I darkened this shadow as it should be, we can see how other stuff have lightened up. So where this looked dark before, it's now lightened up because I put this dark in. Alright, so on the mustache, I'm going to find the group lines. I'm just going to quickly kind of drag them in. Now this goes all the way down to the top of his lip. I'm just going to drag quickly and pay attention to where some of the group lines are.
Layla, what are you doing?
It's moving quickly, barely touching the wood for a second. I can always go back and darken them. Wanda finished her Beethoven.
Yeah?
Yeah. She did a great job.
Sonia's here.
Hey, Sonia. I'll go back and darken in between. Right now, I just need to see where they're at. So dragging quickly and more flat. And we can see that burns lighter. I just want to see where all my lines are at. They will blend in. So if you feel like you have to outline, go as light as possible. That way they're easier for you to blend in. Because some people I know they have a hard time with that. So just lighten your lines. That way they don't stand out. And you can blend them in, and then you'll feel more comfortable. And as you burn longer, it'll be easier to get rid of doing that. Just a little tip on that. It might take a little while until you feel comfortable getting rid of those lines. I'm going to bump back down to about 2 3/4, 2.75. Pull some heat by starting off in an area I've already burned. And we're going to see this be much lighter. I need to bring them together. It would probably be better if I start with the upper lip first. So we have a dark line. It's pretty thick. So I'm going to bump up to 3 just for a second. See, in both of his photos, you only see really like 3/4 of the bottom lip. And I think maybe it's the type of photo. Alright, pull some heat. Take a deep breath because it's going to be dark. This is the bottom lip. Drag, I'm more flat, but I'm also angled slightly to the right because the line I'm trying to burn up against is on my right. And that line is going to have to go darker. Let's bring it down. We got an indent there. And this is a much thicker line I'm just trying to get the lay of the land, and then we will, using just the tip and some oval stroke, start putting it in. Now I do need to pay attention to where the little indent of the nose is. His is actually offset from his nose. So I need to offset it a little bit. I'm not going full dark right now because I need to blend. So I'm just going to use the tip. Get it in there.
Wanda says in the picture online the background didn't look very good to her.
For her Beethoven. I'll have to look again. And if you don't like it, think of it as a learning piece, because unfortunately he's already varnished, so there's really not... It's okay. It's okay if you don't like the piece. I've done plenty of pieces that I don't like. In fact, I'll look at them and cringe. Alright, so let's get that in there. This is a darker shadow here. So we have a highlight right here. So I'm going to go around it. But I'm going in the direction of the lip in order to keep looking at the reference. The shadows go at an angle, so I'm going to do the same thing. And then it moves more up and down. It goes up. Remember, our lips have a lot of texture to them. Go at that angle. You need to follow the shapes, and then we do have some hair, it looks like, coming down. I'm not going to try to discern that yet. Shadow that comes up here. This gets pretty thick. Moving quickly because I'm just blocking in. It's okay to not like a piece. But seriously, I'm sure you learned a lot from that piece. So even if you don't like the outcoming of the burning, it's a burning that did you a favor. Because if you don't like the background this time, you'll try to do the background differently next time. But if you like it and it's just not showing up in photos, sometimes you have to play with like a location to take the photo. This has that angle.
It's true.
So underneath the lip, darken here, just so I don't lose the main part of the lip. He has a large mouth, just not overly prominent lips. And we got a bunch of shadow going on. This starts the lip. I'm going to move quick. And then I'm going to drag up this shading. I'll darken underneath a little bit just in one spot. Then we get some shadow coming down. This is a really long really long shadow. Then it connects to the chin over here. Let's see there. Now, we do have a little shadow that comes down here. I'm not going to make it prominent. Look in that line. We are going to bump up to just shy of 4 so I can start putting the mustache in. And I'm going to take a drink. Let's see. Oh, she burned on poplar. Yep. Okay. There you go. It was a practice for Edgar. Perfect way to think of it. And it does look great, Wanda. It does. But we're going to see things that we don't like in the piece. And instead of getting upset with ourselves, we just need to work on seeing it as a learning. I don't like this, so maybe I'll try this next time. Versus being hard on ourselves, just critiquing the piece and how it looks. I think that's the biggest lesson to learn, is not picking on yourself.
Sheila says the shape of its head kind of reminds me of a Pyrography. I can't read it because of the...
Pyrography, sweet.
Oh, okay. If you don't know. Don't know if you have them in the USA.
We probably have similar candy.
I'm not familiar with them, but
we probably have something similar. We may have the exact same thing, but it's just not named that. Alrighty. So I'm flat. I'm not going to put in every line. I just need to drag it. This way I can shape it a little better. Find my dark areas. Drag from the shadow down, because this is going to be our darkest area of the mustache, is under the nose. So we need to drag down from it. And because we've already burned, it's not going to go black as long as we keep moving. Wanda, where did you get the poplar? Since she's down in the Phoenix area. I mean, I have poplar, but it has a green streak. That's what I did the horse on. Just drag, angle it a little bit, just so I can get a thinner line. And thus far, I've pretty much only used the 18 extra small, right? What did I use last time? And I only mention this to show you don't need a whole ton of pens. Now, I'm sure there's people who aren't going to be happy that I say that, because they, it's their business. They make money.
Yeah.
We just have to be comfortable with the ones we got. And you can do pretty, yes, there are some pens that make things easier. Keep that highlight, and it seems like the mustache kind of stops there in this photo.
Comment says, funny, you mentioned not picking on yourself.
Oh yeah, I think we can get really mean on ourselves.
Yes. Oh, I know.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
I don't get mean on myself.
You got
it may come out that way, but that's not how I mean it.
Okay.
It's seriously.
Okay.
I'm not saying I did horrible on something. Well, no. I'm not talking about me personally.
Okay.
Just the work that I've done. Alright, so because I'm hotter, I'm going to angle.
Oh boy. Carmen's had a new problem with fading.
What? Child. Okay, I guess we're still doing the test then. And I call her, she's older than me. But damn it. I don't think it's fading as much as you might think. Right. This really is a mess. It's just shapes. So I'm just trying to follow the shapes. Just trying to follow the shapes. Right, this goes a little darker, right? Just right here. I'm going to bump down to 2.5 so that I can go a little darker. So right up here. Right at the crevice of the nose. There's a little darker curve. And this is a little darker, but I'm not going to connect the lines so that it doesn't look outlined. You gotta take your pictures of your pieces pretty much in the same place at the same time, or they are going to look slightly different.
That's true.
Because the light is hitting the wood in a different way. Alright, we got that in there. So you do have to, before you think it's fading, you do have to pay attention to that. So what I mean is, so we see this. We're seeing this at 11:35 my time. But even if I have the same exact lights on, the curtain's closed, so everything, the whole environment's exactly the same. If I took another picture of this piece at 5:35, it's going to look different because the light has changed and it angles differently. Plus, you're never going to get the phone in the exact same spot unless you're using a tripod that you have not touched, like at all. So sometimes it might look like it's faded a little bit, and that's because you took that photo at one time, and then you're taking it again at another time. And you're staring at it for days and weeks and months on end. Alright, so we can come down to, I'm going to look at that other photo. Sorry, I do have a bit of a headache.
Oh.
It's okay.
You need anything?
No. I don't know why. Alright, let's look. So again, this is a different angle, but we can see the lip. He's got a pretty small in width bottom lip. Looks like I almost made it a little too thick. So, it's thicker than it should be. So what I'm going to do to fix that is I'm going to bring this line down. I'm going to bring down the line of his mouth. And that shortens the area, and then I'm also going to go a little higher. On this shadow. Just a hair. I can do a little sanding. And bring this shadow down flat. Not connecting them because we don't see them connected. This shadow on his lip is pretty thick right here. I do need to sand a little bit because I made this line is less angled. I'm gonna grab. This should be 400. I've been using them for so long they're all curled, so it's. Yep, this is 400.
Eleanor says she's got to work on the mustache. Her Edgar. She's already done the mustache, but not beyond repair yet. And Carmen says about the fading, it's the white that's faded. The pastel I added with the brush disappeared.
That's a warning I gave. The white darkened, so hence another term would be disappear. You're gonna have to add another layer.
She tried the white charcoal pencil. It disappeared.
Yeah.
So her last attempt was with acrylic, and it stayed. Which acrylic will.
Oh yeah, acrylic will.
Because acrylic is basically it's plastic.
Yep.
I mean it's a polymer, but it's not going to be subject to, you know.
I thought we were talking about the
physical stuff. She says this all happened between varnishing.
It can. Did you spray a varnish? Okay. See, we got to remember, he's up in Canada and he has a couple of different products versus what we have down here.
I see.
Although the workable fixative is available in Canada, but it could be cost an arm and a leg, and then I understand.
Yeah.
Not buying it because things get expensive.
Oh yeah.
All I'm doing is sanding this line right here. And I wrap it around the sanding stick so it's just easier for me to control. Because this line... Anyway, white pastels and the charcoal, they... Yes, they... It's not fading that they're doing. Make this line thicker.
Are they dissolving?
I don't know that even dissolving is the right...
Because I know...
Pastel, the lighter colors darken, so they're not as bright, so they look like they're faded, but they haven't faded. So with workable fixative, you'd lay down your pastel, the white, you would spray it, lay down, because you're on workable fixative, it has enough tooth that you can lay down more pastel, and actually because it has tooth, that's what it's called, you can lay more of it down.
I only ask because, like, sometimes...
You have to build it up.
That there's, like, in some top coats,
I'm not gouging the wood, I'm just scraping with the tip just
in clears or varnishes, sometimes, depending on what the base of it is, there can be a solvent. Or it can act as a solvent, and those solvents sometimes can interact with the paint if you're not careful.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the workable fixative that I use, there's a can by the... Oh, it's right there. Can you get that for me, please?
The bottom left?
Yeah, the spray can. I knew I had a bottle around.
Doing my job.
Thank you.
Alright, I get paid now.
This is specific for pastel, pencil pastel, and chalk.
She said she did use a spray varnish in between until the white stayed, and then she used the varnish or the brush. Oh, well, you know.
Okay, that's why. The second coat of pastels, if you put more on top of the varnish, it's not going to stick.
And then sometimes, too,
that's why.
I guess you'd have to test it. But in the spray varnishes or any kind of spray products, sometimes there's additional additives in there to facilitate it spraying, and those can interact with your work.
Yes.
So
yes. Hello.
You should probably test.
Yeah, but if you
see you
spray varnish, then if you put a second layer of pastels on top of the spray varnish, it's not going to stick. It is going to dissolve.
Yeah. Yep.
If you're going to use any dry color, meaning color that is not wet, you really, really, and it doesn't have to be the crayon. I mean, I'm pretty sure, Burl, do you use this brand if you're still in chat? Been missing Spencer and Burl. There's going to be similar on Amazon. Just put in workable fixative for drawings. And you specifically want stuff that works with pencils, pastels, and chalk drawings. So basically, all your dry medium, and you're going to want to use that. Because then you can add another layer. And then you would spray one more coat of the workable fixative to seal it in there. It's not going to dissolve like that. And then you don't even have to put any more spray varnish on, like at all. You can just go right into your brush varnish. But I think that, because varnish is supposed to be, you can apply, if you're using a water-based polyacrylic varnish, you can apply acrylic to that, because acrylic is water-based poly as well, so the acrylic will stick to the varnish. But everything else won't. It is going to dissolve or move. So it's really important.
Burl says she has a couple of cans.
Okay. Of the Krylon?
She didn't specify.
Yep, yeah, she says yep. Okay.
And Carmen says I did use the white pastel before and had no problem with it.
But did you have to put a second coat on? I probably really... I need to do a standalone video of these specific things, showing the steps I go through to protect my work.
Yeah.
Can you hand me Layla, please? She is in the back corner. Not her. Not her.
Like, just hand her to you? I don't know if I'm up to that.
Alright. We have pan pastels. This was brighter before I added the varnish, and that's because lighter colors darken when it comes to any pastels, any chalks. They darken. They are still there. They're going to look brighter when you move it around, but looking head on, they look like they have gone away. Even along here, the top of her head. So for Layla, it was do all my burning. Don't add any color anywhere, eyes anywhere, until I'm 100% done burning. These are pan pastels in the back. I put the white on, blended it out, put the light blue on, blended it out, sprayed with workable fixative, and because they're lighter colors, they didn't fade, they just darkened. Just like when you have a light burning, your burning hasn't faded in general. The wood, when you varnish, got darker. So the tones do their thing. There's a little bit of chalk there. It's hard to, I mean, it stands out on camera, and it does stand out in person, but it's not as bright. So it was spray workable fixative. I added more pastel to it, sprayed it again, and then she got she got 3 coats of brush on gloss, and gloss is the only one I use because it makes the burnings look better. But you gotta spray workable fixative.
I only use gloss too for the same reason.
It deepens the colors. It just looks better.
The only downside of that is that it's a little trickier to take pictures of because you have to be mindful of the glare.
If you angle it right and have your lights angled the way they need to be.
I'm just saying it's trickier than matte.
Yeah, I don't have the issue.
Yeah.
In general. In most cases. Does that mean every case? No.
No.
But workable fixative is going to help with all that.
Yeah, it really will.
You might have to build it up, and because even the raven under the Edgar pattern is the raven.
You want it?
Yes, please. When we added the pan pastels to the
I see no raven.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about the actual ornament.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I haven't sprayed more workable fixative on here, but I made this brighter white and it darkened a little bit, so I have to add another layer to it. Spray workable fixative, like you don't. I'm trying to remember. Actually, it may already have workable. Oh, no, because look, right came off. So I added pastels on top. Now I gotta be careful where I touch anything because it's gonna transfer that red. I don't want that. But because that I added more pan pastel, I have to spray it with workable fixative. Alright, got it off. It is a process of learning on that, and I've done a ton of research. I'm a research lady.
You? Really?
If I don't know.
I've never known you to research anything for hours and hours and hours.
I know all the rabbit holes.
Yeah, you do.
I know where to get in. I know how to get out. Might take a little while. But I know where all the rabbit holes are.
Yes, you do.
Alright, darkening up. We have the lip at the top coming out. So I need to... We have a line here, and that's where the top of the lip is. But I don't want it a straight, solid line, so I'm going to mix it up a little bit. And we got some darker here. And right now I'm only on 2.5, so it's going to burn pretty light. And bring some of the mustache down. The workable fixative, whether it's just white that you're adding or color, it's really important.
It's true, Wanda. She'll go outside. She'll be like, when the whole Edgar Allan Poe thing here started, she disappeared outside because that's her thinking place. Anyway, so...
It's my thinking place.
So then she came back in, and then she's like, did you know?
Yes, I'm that person.
It doesn't matter
I'm that person.
what I'm doing. She will regale me with many, many obscure facts. And I'm like, what?
But I think sometimes I am like Kelly Bundy. I put facts in, and then other facts come out the other side.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey.
I didn't...
Sometimes I have that
I was just
moment.
agreeing with you. I'm not trying to do that.
Alright.
I'm not... Shouldn't be in trouble for agreeing with you.
So I moved this shadow line. And we got our highlight. That is electric eraser. YouTube, that is an electric eraser. Don't want to get demonetized.
Good lord.
Oh, hey. It's YouTube. Alright. So we have his lips in. I'm not going to fully darken or even bring down more of his beard, of his mustache, which does need to be brought down a little bit until excuse me, until his hair is in, at least hair along the side of his face where it's the darkest. in order to not fight the tonal values. So however dark I go with the hair, some of this hair and the mustache also needs to go to that level. But he got a mouth. It's looking like him.
It's looking like him a lot.
When we say that looks like him, we're getting there.
Yeah.
So do you guys... Wanda loves trivia.
Yeah, I saw that.
I do too. Alrighty. Next week, do you guys want... See, we got the chin and the side of the face shadows. Or do you guys want some hair? What should we do? Thing is if I say hair, we can work on this whole area side so that we get the shadow of the face, we get the hair, and then we also can take a look at his ear, because we have lights and darks in the ear as well. Yep. See, Wanda says she burned his hair, and then on Beethoven's hair, she burned Beethoven's hair, and then she burned the jacket, and then realized she had to darken the hair. All the tones in a piece, I don't care how light or how dark they are, all of them work together. They're all supposed to be friends, and when a burning is off, maybe you have too much mid-tone and not enough lights and darks, that means they ain't partying. They're not having fun. And so it looks blah. But when you get those lights and darks in with the mid-tone, it just pops. It's like, poo! I'm sorry, I got a headache, so where I'm going with shit at this point?
Well, we're getting close to the end of the
Don't know. Am I making sense at this point?
You're making sense.
Okay, as long as that's
It's entertaining. I'm sorry that you're hurting, though.
Yeah. It's my neck into my eyes. My necks have been snapping and popping all morning long. Hey, baby. Yeah. You check it on me.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we're good.
She's like, Mom.
Oh, so Carmen was or Burl was telling Carmen where she got, I'm guessing, her workable fixative.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. You can also get it on Amazon. But if you have one, she pulled my hair. Oh, she didn't yank it out of my head. It's okay, baby. Oh, watch your head. Watch your head. Come over here. Thank you. So, because we got shadow under the eyes. This is within an year of his death. Oh, okay. Now Morgan's on my hair on the other side. Okay, this is just giving me my headache worse. Let me move my hair. Alright, so I think we will work this area to include the dark hair, because the dark hair does drape over the face a little bit. So I think if we work on this area, we can hit a couple of different things, which allows us to be able to spend time on the clothes and the background. Okay, so next week we will work on this area here, because whatever we do here, in general, we're going to be doing over here, so I don't think we need to go over the whole thing, meaning the whole head of hair or the whole face. We can get it all knocked out on one side and apply what we discussed on the one side to the other side. There we go. I think that will work out better for us.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, any of the art stores should have the crayon. Any art store is going to have workable fixative, because pastel artists, charcoal artists, pencil artists all use it. So they're going to have it. Any art store is going to have it. Whether they have it in stock or not is a different story, but any art store, arts and crafts store, should have it. It should be relatively easy to find. And again, it is on Amazon. And if you can't find that specific brand, which on the workable fixative, they have another version of it that is UV archival. I'm going to buy a can of that so I can test that out. I've never used that one. But if it adds one more layer of UV, absolutely. UV production. Oh, yes, Walmart. They got a craft section. So look in the craft section of any big box store. You should be able to find it. Although, Cynthia, was it in the art supply? Yeah, it would still be an art supply because it's not a can of paint. It should be an art supply. Go on a hunt. Alright, do we have any more questions? Next week, will be Tuesday. We'll be back to Tuesday. I did ask if Wednesday was better.
Merle wasn't in.
No.
Neither was
Carmen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe ask that a question again.
Alright. On the public lives, do we want them on Wednesday, or is Tuesday easier to remember because that's when we do everything else?
What's more convenient for everyone? When will you be here?
Yeah. Alright, you know what? We can leave it in the comments.
Okay.
I gotta take some Advil. Whew, it's hurting. Alrighty. You know what to say. Say it with me. You're awesome. You can do this. Why? Because you're a pyro artist. Happy burning, guys.
Bye.
Bye.